Imagine for a moment a man so bold that he could sell an entire country. A country that, in reality, did not exist on any map. This is not a legend or a fable, but a true story that unfolded in the shadows of history. Gregor MacGregor, a master of persuasion and deception, convinced hundreds of hopeful souls to invest in land in a fictional nation he called Poyais. He didn't just invent a name, he conjured an entire world. MacGregor crafted detailed maps, a political system, a currency, and even a national flag, all to make Poyais seem as real as any country in Europe. He described Poyais as a lush, untouched paradise on the coast of Central America, a land of opportunity and endless promise, where fortunes could be made and new lives begun. Doctors, lawyers, artisans, and entire families abandoned their homes, sold their possessions, and set out for this dreamland, lured by the hope of a better future. They poured their life savings into what they believed was a golden opportunity, never suspecting that the country they were buying into was nothing more than a masterful illusion. MacGregor sold hope at a time when Britain was reeling from war and economic hardship. He tapped into the anxieties and dreams of the 1820s, offering a vision of escape and renewal. He offered a simple, seductive solution to the complex problems of the era, an easy path to prosperity wrapped in the trappings of legitimacy. His victims were not the gullible or the foolish, but ordinary people, men and women with hopes, fears and ambitions, expertly manipulated by MacGregor's charisma and confidence. Many became landowners or even officials of Poyais, proudly holding deeds and currency that, in truth, were nothing but worthless paper. The story of Gregor MacGregor is a cautionary tale, a reminder of the extraordinary power of narrative and how easily it can be used to deceive. Even today, in our age of digital illusions and get-rich-quick schemes, the echoes of Poyais can be heard. The tools have changed, but the human desire to believe in a better tomorrow remains the same. MacGregor's audacity was breathtaking. He didn't just sell land, he sold a ready-made dream, complete with all the trappings of legitimacy. He opened an office in London's prestigious financial district, giving his scheme the appearance of respectability and trustworthiness. People walked in seeking a fresh start and walked out as proud landowners, their dreams seemingly within reach. But the price of admission to this fantasy was often financial ruin, heartbreak, and shattered trust. This tale exposes a fundamental human vulnerability, the irresistible allure of a promise that seems too good to be true, and the hope that drives us to believe in it. MacGregor's victims were not fools. They were dreamers, just like us, people searching for a brighter future and willing to risk everything for the chance to find it. Who was Gregor MacGregor? A name that echoes through the annals of history, not for heroism or conquest, but for one of the most audacious cons ever attempted. Born in Scotland in 1786, MacGregor grew up in a world of rigid class and limited opportunity. From a young age, he craved recognition and status far beyond what his modest upbringing could offer. At just 16, he joined the British Army, eager to make his mark. His military career was a blend of genuine service and flamboyant self-promotion, always seeking to stand out among his peers. His ambitions soon led him across the Atlantic, where the promise of the Americas beckoned. It was here that his transformation from soldier to self-styled royalty truly began. In Venezuela, amidst the chaos of revolution, MacGregor reinvented himself as a general. He fought alongside Simon Bolivar's forces, but his greatest talent was not on the battlefield. It was in crafting his own legend. Through a strategic marriage into a prominent family, he elevated his social standing, gaining both influence and credibility in elite circles. When he encountered the remote Mosquito Coast, MacGregor saw not just untamed land, but a blank canvas for his most elaborate deception yet, a kingdom waiting to be invented. Returning to London in 1821, he rebranded himself as His Serene Highness Gregor, Cazique of Poyais. With charm and confidence, he spun tales of a lush, prosperous land in Central America. He claimed sovereignty over a vast imaginary territory, presenting himself as a ruling prince with the power to grant land and titles to eager investors. McGregor's genius lay in understanding the hopes and dreams of his audience. He offered them not just land, but a role in a grand adventure, a chance to be part of something extraordinary. A master showman, McGregor conjured an illusion of substance and grandeur where there was none, forever securing his place as the infamous Prince of Poyais. McGregor's scam was supported by a remarkably sophisticated marketing campaign, unlike anything seen before in the early 19th century. He understood the power of image and perception and used every tool at his disposal to create the illusion of a thriving, prosperous nation. To further convince investors and the public, he opened the Poyaisian legation office in London, complete with official-looking signage and staff. This gave his imaginary country a physical presence in the heart of the British Empire, lending an air of legitimacy and authority. McGregor even commissioned a fictional guidebook, Sketch of the Mosquito Shore, filled with elaborate details and glowing descriptions. The book was designed to entice settlers and investors, painting a vivid picture of opportunity. The guidebook described Poyais as a land of fertile soil, abundant resources, and friendly natives eager to welcome newcomers. It even included maps showing the non-existent capital, St. Joseph, and other invented towns, making the fantasy feel tangible. McGregor initiated a Poyaisian state loan on the London Stock Exchange, offering bonds to the public. This move was bold and unprecedented, and it made Poyais seem as credible as any other nation seeking investment. The bonds traded alongside those of legitimate countries, further lending credibility to the scheme. Investors saw Poyais listed among real nations, and many were convinced by the apparent authenticity. McGregor sold not just land, but also prestigious positions within the Poyaisian establishment, titles, government roles, and military ranks, each accompanied by impressive-looking documents. Ordinary people, many of whom dreamed of a better life, could buy their way into an imaginary aristocracy. For a fee, they received certificates promising status and privilege in the new world. Every detail, from official proclamations to elaborate citizenship papers, drew people deeper into the fantasy, making them feel like true citizens of Poyais. McGregor cleverly used the systems of finance and trust that underpinned the era, weaving them into his fraudulent enterprise to make it seem unassailable. He appealed to vanity, ambition, and the universal desire for social status, ensuring that his imaginary nation was as alluring as it was convincing. McGregor's manipulation was methodical. He placed grand advertisements in major newspapers, creating a buzz. Potential investors visited the Poyaisian legation office, solidifying the illusion. They were shown the sketch of the Mosquito Shore guidebook. Beautifully printed land deeds and Poyaisian dollars were presented. Settlers purchased land for 4 shillings an acre, exchanging pounds for worthless currency. McGregor profited from the exchange rate he set. Ships were chartered to transport settlers, dispelling doubts about Poyais' existence. McGregor saw settlers off with grand speeches, wishing them well. As ships sailed, McGregor remained in London, pockets full. The process felt official, transparent, and professional. The ultimate proof for many was the sight of actual vessels bound for Poyais. The victims of the Poyais scam were individuals with their own stories. A Scottish doctor saw Poyais as a chance to establish a prestigious practice. A young family sought a better life, escaping poverty in industrial Britain. A former army officer was seduced by the promise of renewed status and adventure. A wealthy widow invested for excitement and a sense of purpose. Each story highlights different motivations: ambition, desperation, boredom, hope. McGregor expertly exploited these human desires. In September 1822, the Honduras packet set sail with hopeful settlers. They believed they would found a new Britain in the tropics. The journey was filled with excitement and anxiety. Upon arrival, they found only a remote, undeveloped jungle. The capital city of St. Joseph did not exist. Stranded in a hostile environment, they faced a desperate fight for survival. Disease spread rapidly and their dream dissolved into a nightmare. They were not pioneers, they were castaways. The dream of Poyais was a brutal deception. For the stranded settlers, life became a living hell. The fertile soil was swampy and impossible to farm. Disease was rampant, and the social fabric unraveled. Some settlers refused to believe they were deceived, venturing into the jungle. Others fell into deep depression with suicides reported. The scam was exposed when a passing ship found the survivors. Of 250 settlers, fewer than 50 survived and returned to Britain. Their stories caused a public sensation, and Poyaisian bonds became worthless. The man hailed as a prince was revealed as a con man. The game was up. Despite the truth about Poyais, MacGregor evaded justice. In Paris, he attempted the same scam on the French public. Arrested in France, he claimed to be a victim, blaming others. His charm worked. He was acquitted and returned to London. British authorities struggled to prosecute the complex fraud. MacGregor insisted Poyais was real, claiming a smear campaign. He was never convicted for the Poyaisian fraud. Returning to Venezuela, he lived in comfort and respectability. The man responsible for so much misery never faced true justice. The story of Gregor MacGregor is a powerful lesson in human psychology. Be skeptical of anything too good to be true. MacGregor offered a paradise with no downsides, exploiting desire. Sophisticated marketing and the illusion of authority were key. He built an entire world around his tale, creating legitimacy. Herd mentality drove investment, creating social proof. The fear of missing out clouded judgment. The tale of Poyais is a reminder of storytelling's power. MacGregor was a master narrator, selling hope and adventure. Scammers today use similar tactics, appealing to emotions. Critical thinking is the greatest defense against deception. Ask, is this story, this promise, actually real?